2020, many things in our lives tumbled. My 17-year-old granddaughter Fiona was at Ottawa University studying towards a non-BCom, specializing in human resources management. She was suddenly forced to leave residence, go home to the farm, which has a dozen beef cattle, and continue with online studies. This went reasonably well, but all day on a computer was not ideal for a young gal who was fond of sports and outdoor activities. Along with her younger brother and her dad, who works shifts with the Brockville Fire Department, they discussed and devised a plan to renovate their old barn, but their school classes had to take priority. Mighty were those plans. Dad had lots of lumber from their woodlot. They strengthened the supports for the loft, removed the dairy cow stalls, and replaced them with large pens with steel gates. Soon after, a dozen piglets, who were in her brother's care, occupied one stall, and 3-day-old heifer calves occupied another. This meant that Fiona had suddenly become a nanny. She bottle-fed those calves twice daily for several weeks and kept their stall clean. Finally, 6 mature hens and a dozen chicks were added to the livestock. Fiona and her brother built a small raised vegetable garden because the hens would soon be free-range and ground-level gardens are not hen-friendly. All of the efforts to increase the use of their farm have been fruitful, and the teenage girl who was seeking higher education was a major part in carrying out the plan. She has certainly broadened her education during these challenging times, along with achieving success in her academic pursuits. Nana, I can't come to see you because the world is sick, but don't worry, the doctors are going to make it better soon. This little guy was filled with hope and trust, which was needed, especially in the earliest weeks of the COVID pandemic. A few weeks later, I woke up at about 2 a.m. with an idea in my head. I quickly sketched an image and then went back to bed. The next day my son called and I told him about my sketch and sent a photo of what I had quickly drawn on paper. He was so taken by my drawing he encouraged me to paint it. My first attempt was on a 16 by 20 canvas where I used pastels. The second painting was on a 30 by 40 gallery wrapped canvas and painted in the vivid colors I originally envisioned in my dream. The young girl is holding the sick world with despair and is reassured by the medical practitioner with hope. The angel encircles them in her wings of loving protection as COVID-19 floats menacingly in the air. The background of this painting shows the light coming from the left of the canvas, which gets darker across the center and ends with a faint rainbow of color to the right. This represents our lives going from brighter, carefree days into the shadows of isolation and fear, and then finding our way in the arms of loving protection, which fills us with grace in a rainbow of hope. After a few months of communication, Wednesday, September 23rd, the painting was handed over to Jenny Reed of the Kemptville District Hospital in the parking lot of the hospital. Ironically, my grandson, who inspired this project, had tested negative for COVID the previous day. I was a bit emotional handing over my gift. We have medical practitioners as well as volunteer firefighters in my family. I honor the sacrifices they made and the brave service in spite of their own trauma and fears while we stayed safely at home. My heart aches for the innocent children who are silently suffering in this pandemic. I hope it brings continued courage to all of frontline hospital staff wherever they decide to place this tribute in the hospital. I offered the smaller concept painting for any future hospital fundraisers, but for now it's on my wall, bringing me hope, loving protection, and sends my despair away, well, on most days. Thank you for all your hard work, KDH.